Hi, everybody. I'm Brendan Murphy.
I'm Matthew Brown.
And this week on A Few Good Movies, we're taking a look back at another holiday classic, The Nightmare Before Christmas from 1993, directed by Henry Selick. So, Matt, this is one of your picks once again. So, what is your history with this movie, and why did you choose this movie to do this week?
Oh, God, I hate to sound redundant, but
Yeah,
kind of like the same reason with Jeepers Creepers, just kind of grew up with it. I had the VHS of it, and I had like the good, like the plastic open VHS,
boy,
not like
that,
the little sleeve that came off.
that,
So it was like
that nice Disney clamshell, for
it was
sure.
the details. Yeah, exactly. I
For
had
sure.
that. I had that in the Toy Story 1 and 2, and I was like, those are my gems.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
But yeah, I just used to always watch that. My brother was super obsessed with it too, and he used
Mm-hmm.
to always watch it around like Halloween, and so it
Mm-hmm.
was always kind of too scary for me as a kid. So I kind of wanted to come back and relive it older and be like, let me actually like see how much I enjoy this movie and not just let it be this, thing that was super terrifying but super
Yeah.
crazy and super fun when I was a kid.
Yeah. I mean, no, it does go to some like darker places. Like obviously there's a Halloween and Christmas like mixing thing and like all the stuff in Halloween Town is like super supposed to be creepy and everything. But like, I always like I know in the back of my head it's coming, but I always like really forget like, wow, they just shoot the main character out of the sky with like military grade cannons and like
Yeah.
ammunition. Huh. Like that's always just like that's how they bring him down. I forgot. Like it's
That's
just
what
like shoot him out of the sky, which hey, like gets the job done, but it's like
everyone's cheering.
Jesus.
They're like waiting for the regular scene. They're like, all right, the cops
Yeah.
open it. He's like, now that we've got him down.
Yeah, it's just like literally like it's also the thing, it's like the whole town is like mobilized and just like literally they have a cop going down the streets like, we have not found the real Santa. We don't know where he is.
Yeah.
Like it's just like, geez, this is a little upsetting for a Christmas movie, but okay. I mean, as far as my experience growing up with this movie, I don't know. It's that one of those movies, like, how there's the classic Disney movies that everyone knows and everyone has watched by the time they're 5
For
and
sure.
all that. But like, there are those couple that your parents just don't have on VHS or you haven't seen. And then you're like a teenager, like, ooh, I've never seen this one. Like, what's this thing about? And Nightmare Before Christmas was one of those for me,
Okay.
where it's just like, I don't know. It's one of those weird ones where it's like, it was at the library and I was like, oh, what's this? Like, I want to check this out. The Nightmare Before Christmas sounds kind of baller. Sounds kind of twisted. Like, let's go for it. And listen, I won't lie. I'll put it out there. I have no shame, but like, during middle school, I was one of the emo kids. Like I was the guy who was like always wearing black and like, man, for Christmas, I watched Nightmare Before Christmas. That's right. I listened to Fall Out Boy and Panic at the Disco. Like, what the hell is up with it? And it's
Dude,
just like,
I listened to Slipknot. I was a
of
skater.
course,
I have
of course.
buddy. Oh, I had
Yeah.
the headphones, the over the ear, I had the CD player. I was pissed off.
Oh
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Like fucking. And we got to talk about the legacy of this movie a little bit because obviously Hot Topic is a store completely built around just like the vibe of this movie. I feel like
Yeah,
that's
basically.
all they sell. It's just Nightmare Before Christmas for the most part, which I get it. Like iconic movie, iconic characters, iconic looks, but it's just like it's crazy. Like I don't feel like Nightmare Before Christmas is emo or anything like that, but like every emo kid was like, this is the shit right here. This is my movie. This is our movie. Like, I don't know what it was specifically about this movie that did it, but like kind of nails that vibe. Um, but yeah, I mean, and obviously you got Tim Burton, who is the producer and the writer, which we can get into kind of the Burton of it. Because originally it was his idea. He was, I don't know how much you know about Burton and his history, but he started out as an animator at Walt Disney Animation Studios and everything like that, around like early 80s.
Okay.
And he's like one of these guys who like they handed a short film to him and everything like this. He was kind of blowing people's minds and like stuff like that. And just like at a certain point, Disney was like, what is all this weird shit you're making? And like, why do you think we would approve of this? And like, so he just kept making this weirder shit. Like, there was the old before there was the stop motion animated Frankenweenie that came out in like the 2010s. It was a short film that Tim Burton had made about a kid who like revives his dog and everything like that. And so Disney essentially sends him out the door, kind of, or like just creative differences. They all kind of walk away from each other. But then Tim Burton goes on his run in the 80s where it's just like Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns. And it's the year after Batman Returns that this is finally released, but just where it's just like, I am Tim Burton. I make hit after hit.
Right.
And apparently Disney still owned the rights to this because he had wrote the poem that he wrote that this is based off of while he was at Disney, and kind of sold the idea to Disney. And they still had the rights, and they were just like, guys, are you going to let this movie happen, or like, what's the deal? And they're finally like, it is Tim Burton. Like, we can capitalize off that name. We can slap it right in front of the title and everything. People are going to think he's the one who made it when it's really Henry Selick was the director. And everyone has thought that Tim Burton directed this movie since it was released and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of how this like comes to be. It's just this like one of his passion projects. He was just like, come on, like, when can I make it? When will I let this happen?
It's crazy. How long did they own the rights to that poem? How long were they sitting on that?
Like about 10 years.
That's crazy. They were just like, he'll be back.
Well, it's not even that he'll be back. They were just like, we don't know what the fuck to do with this. We're not doing this.
Okay.
That's not our brand, especially so obviously Disney's 80s, honestly their 70s, 80s, like around that area is kind of a dark period for Disney. They're almost like about to go out of business. Another movie, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is kind of what saves them a little bit.
Okay.
Because of, A, it's a huge hit, it's a great movie, and just also we have a new character. We have some money we can play around with. It proves that like animation is still something viable that we can do. And then the year after is The Little Mermaid. And after that, all bets are off. After Little Mermaid, you have Beauty and the Beast and you have Aladdin, like where Disney just like, yeah, like we're riding high. We don't have to do shit. We don't have to bring out this crazy Nightmare Before Christmas, whatever this is.
Right.
And I don't think you can make this movie without Tim Burton on board, honestly.
Yeah. It feels very Tim Burton-esque in terms of like even like Edward Scissorhands and stuff, things like that, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, the only reason he doesn't make this movie is because he's working on Batman Returns, and the fact that stop motion animation takes the longest ever amount of time to really like be able to do.
Yeah.
Which that's kind of for me, because obviously this was a movie I watched a lot as a kid, but it just doesn't have that same kind of like appeal to me anymore. Like, it's not my favorite. It's not something I watch every year, but like,
For sure.
still, this is such a technical marvel.
Mm-hmm.
The fact they were able to pull this off, like how good it looks, like how creative it is. Like, I'm still kind of there's still like a couple little things every time I watch it I pick up and I'm like, how the hell did they do that? Like Zero the dog, I'm still kind of amazed. Like, how did they pull this guy off right here? Like, how he's so translucent, but he's still obviously like stop motion and everything like that. Like, that shit kind of amazes me. I mean, this is a short movie. We talked about it. Like, it's about, I think the official running time is like 78 minutes, maybe. That's including credits and everything.
Thanks.
Like, you see every penny on screen. Like, it is truly something to behold. Like, that's why this movie was praised so much when it was originally released, just because of like how innovative the movie was for just like continuing this form of like stop motion animation and kind of like doing it like as good as it could be done up to that point.
Yeah, it looks different than most things out at that time. Like, it definitely has a distinct look to it.
Absolutely. I mean, you mash up the whole Tim Burton thing and then just like, yeah, you're going to make basically a cartoon where you can just like do whatever you want with the character designs.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, well, every character I make is going to be like something completely different from the last thing I made. Like, there are these little groups of things. Like, obviously you have like the 3 vampires that all kind of look similar, the 2 witches, but they still like have like their own little like details about them and everything
Absolutely.
like that. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. I mean, Roger Ebert in his review when it originally came out, like, compared it to like Star Wars with like just how technically marvelous it was.
That's crazy.
Everything like that, just like kind of like this is kind of a huge achievement. Like, it was awarded like best visual effects at the Oscars that year. Like kind of a landmark for this kind of animation and this kind of like way of doing things. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. The story like just kind of doesn't do what it used to do for me, honestly. I don't know how you feel about it.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just like, I don't know. Like for me, there's not a ton there. Now, obviously, there's like this basic kind of just like Disney kind of like, well, there's this guy. He wants something different out of his life. He has a song about it. And then he's presented with the thing that he can do different with his life. Which, hey, don't mess with the formula. Like, I get it. You just made 3 movies that are like that and all made like a couple $100 million, like re-solidified your position as like the place for family entertainment. Like, I get it.
For sure.
But it's like, I don't know. This movie doesn't, outside of like some cool character designs and the fact that it is such a landmark for this kind of animation, it just does not have that same kind of like hold for me anymore.
Yet again, I think we're going to be on the same page, and I'm going to have to agree with you, because outside of the fact that my favorite part about it was the fact that I couldn't figure out if it's a Christmas movie or a Halloween movie, which is the point. But it's like, it's just such a unique little blend. But outside of that, like you said, the animations and the interesting characters, the actual story itself, I was like, well, all right. I mean,
this guy, he's like,
I'm
a Halloween guy, but like, it's like, hey, I'm a Halloween guy, but I don't know, maybe I'm not a Halloween guy. And it's like, maybe I'm a Christmas guy.
And then it turns out he's like,
oh, I'm not a Christmas guy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick to Halloween.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, glad we had a moment of clarity.
Yeah, like, and I don't mean to simplify it that much or anything, but it's like, it's pretty much, I mean, you have some like color added in with like Sally, who's great and everything like that. But like, honestly, at the end of the day, for me, this is like more of a like just tactical piece than anything else. And not to say I'm not wowed by it. Like the shots that like wowed the shit out of me when I was 11 or 12 or whatever, like still there's an effect when I see them. Like that, when I think the song is called Jack's Lament, when he's like going through the graveyard and there's that iconic, like the little hill that like slips like all the shots of him like walking up that thing, and like when he walks down, I'm still just like, holy shit.
It like
this is
curls
great.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I was thinking the same thing, because his head like perfectly stays along the rim of the moon, and you're just like, I was watching that same.
It's incredible.
I was like, this is so good. And of course, that's the iconic, cover shot. It looks so cool, though. It's just like, what an idea.
For sure.
And again, the execution of him walking down it, and just that whole setup. I love that whole world. Just like the abstract, like how the mayor's hat is crazy long for no reason. They're all these kind of like odd. I've always been such a fan of that abstract sort of like characters, and they do it to a pretty extreme on this.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's always been that thing where, I mean, you look at his Batman movies too. I don't know how involved he was at like the design step of all of this. I'm sure from what it looks like, pretty heavily, at least with the Halloween Town stuff, because like he's always been a guy who's like taken a lot of his notes from old like German expressionistic movies and stuff like that. Like you talk about like your older, like your Nosferatu's, your Cabinet of Dr. Caligari.
Nosferatu makes sense. You can totally see
for
that,
sure.
Like that. What's the word I'm looking for? The
influence.
There you go. That's what it is.
Yeah. All these weird angles, all these weird just like design choices, all these shadows, like everything like that. Like it's all baked into the cake. It all looks great. Like the highlights of this movie for me are those like musical numbers when they really are flexing. They're like, here's the shit we can do with stop motion animation. Like the opening number, the This Is Halloween number is great. The song is awesome.
Classic song.
Got to go ahead and shout out Danny Elfman for like writing the score, writing the songs along with Burton, and just being the singing voice of Jack Skellington himself, like knocks it out of the park. And the Jack's Lament number is like really cool because, like I said, we got that shit where he's like walking down the hill and it's like curling, and that shit's great. And then the What's This in Christmas Town, where like,
what's this?
Yeah, that's great. Where he's just like,
what's this?
Yeah, it's great. It's super fun. Like, but it's when the movie slows down and doesn't do as much of those like musical numbers and like like, I don't know, you lose that sense of like, wow, what's going on? Like, I feel like this movie is mostly having its fun where it's like just like unveiling new shit and like, here's this thing, there's that thing over there, there's this thing over here, isn't all this cool? And like when you get to about the 30-minute mark, when it's done most of it, it just kind of like starts to get a little slow. You kind of get a little, gets to be a little tedious. I mean, you have when Oogie Boogie shows up and you get some new shit there, like that's super fun. But after that stuff, I'm kind of just like waiting for like, okay, let's like unravel Oogie Boogie. Let's get all the bugs like burned up in the lava and everything like that. Like, let's get going. Like for a 70-minute movie, I was surprised just kind of how much I was like looking at my watch, looking at how much time I had left. So which isn't the greatest endorsement, but it's just like, it's an important movie for it being like a stepping stone in the technology and everything like that. And I respect it for that, at least.
Yeah, I think you nailed it though. Like as soon as you lose the wow factor of the movie and you get into like the narrative part of it, it's just real. It's super slow, super boring. I'm not gonna lie to you though. I do love the doctor, the evil doctor in the wheelchair with his.
Like I think it's like Dr. Finkelstein or some shit like
that's
like great.
For some reason I'm just a huge fan of him.
He's great.
He pulls his brain out so he can make a half a version of himself.
Yeah, for sure.
Just a real intuitive guy. I'm a big fan.
For sure. Loves a soup. Like, gotta give him that.
Soup.
Big soup boy. Gotta give him that.
Yeah. It's amazing how trustworthy he is. After several poisonings, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna trust it again. Go ahead.
You know what? The soup does smell pretty good. I'll eat it for the soup. Here's the thing. I love my soup. And this smells like pretty good soup. I'm gonna go for it. Either way, like
I'm in here. It's worth the shot.
But yeah, because I mean, when you talk about the plot, there's not much. I mean, we kind of covered it. Honestly.
Yeah, we did. It's crazy. It's really. I didn't realize. Honestly, when like it ended, I was thinking about that. I was like, outside of like some like this was cool, some of our favorite moments, like the actual story itself is it's a log line. It's about a sentence. It's not much.
It's that hype concept, like literally you can put it on the poster like, oh, there's Christmas stuff and there's Halloween stuff. Okay, I know what I'm in for.
Stop motion animation.
Yeah.
What year did this come out?
1993.
So that was a pretty big deal when it came out in 93. People were probably
kinda. It wasn't the biggest movie. Like it grossed about like 50 million. It was kind of regarded as a sleeper hit kind of deal. It's that thing where it's just like it got this cult following. Like people like seeing that iconography, like people watching it when it's on TV or when it's on Disney Channel, or like renting it and stuff like that. Because obviously you see that poster, you're intrigued. It's got a great poster.
For sure. That might be the best part about it, that poster. And maybe that's what made me want to see it again, is because I just remember so vividly seeing that. It's weird. In my house, there was like 3 or 4 different things that were set up. And I have like 5 distinct memories of like movies around my house. It was the box set of all 6 of the Star Wars up on this movie rack. It was classic. It was Reservoir Dogs sitting down on the right side of my TV, like laying down. That was there always. It was The Nightmare Before Christmas. I never really watched this one, but the other one was, what is it? It's those guys are stranded out in the woods. They, I'm not going to get stuck on it, so oh well. But anyway, yeah, there was just, that's probably why it came to my head, because it's just, I have some of these weird childhood memory visions, and it's just like, I'm looking at a movie. Like Air Bud, him when he plays basketball is another one that I have. Why is that on there?
I mean, here's the thing. You gotta like have those things where your friends are like, what is this movie here? Like a dog plays basketball. Like you gotta put that on every once in a while. Like, I don't know, I'm looking for something a little goofy. I'm a little fun. Like, what's something I haven't seen before? A dog playing basketball. Let's go.
That loves pudding cups.
Yeah, loves pudding. I mean,
be honest, who doesn't love a good pudding cup?
Who doesn't? You put a pudding cup in front of me, I'm gonna eat it. There's no question.
Okay, no, here's the real question though. Since we're touching on this is now half a film review, half a food review or food critique. Best pudding, like flavor.
I mean, I gotta go with the chocolate pudding for me personally. Like that's the way you gotta go.
I knew I could count on you.
Like the vanilla just doesn't have enough flavor. The chocolate flavor pudding is usually just that right amount of like milk chocolate. It's not too dark. It's not too bitter. Like that's the flavor you gotta go with every time.
I knew.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I mean, the voice cast is good. Like, I'll give them that too. Like,
It's nothing
all
to
of the
write home
songs, like,
about, but it's
yeah.
good.
I mean, it's that thing where it's just like the focus is on the animation,
For sure.
which um
Yeah.
didn't know this until I looked it up earlier. We're doing 2 Catherine O'Hara movies in a row because Catherine O'Hara, obviously the mom in Home Alone, she voices Sally in this movie.
I did see that. I was going through the IMDb today, and I noticed that, and I was like, "Wait, really? That's the same?" I had to like double check because I didn't realize that was
Yeah.
her at all.
And then you're like, well, that makes sense because obviously Burton and her, they made Beetlejuice together and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, that's cool too. I don't know, man. It's like, what else can you really say about it except it's like super. I mean, I'll say this. I'm glad that it exists, that like people like worked on this kind of technology and this animation so we could get some more of the, like, better stop motion animated movies over the last couple of years. Like,
Sure.
I'm glad that like Leica is a studio that's still running. Like, I was thinking about like watching this movie. I was thinking about how like, how do we go from here to like something like Kubo and the Two Strings, which I don't know if you've seen that movie, but like, if you're interested in stop motion animation, that's like kind of the highest bar possible, honestly.
No, I want to see it for sure.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, visually super stunning. Leica usually makes pretty good movies. Coraline is another great one, kind of in this vein. Another Henry Selick movie.
Coraline. How is have you seen Tim Burton? What is it? The Corpse Bride, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Oh yeah, when I was a kid, that was a big one for me. Was Tim Burton's Corpse Bride.
How is that in comparison to this? Because I haven't seen that either.
They're pretty similar. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time.
Okay.
It's a lot longer. There's a lot more kind of like Burton like playing around because he has that like kind of clout to just be like, okay, we're gonna have a lot more money invested in this. Sure. We're gonna have movie stars doing the voices. Like, we're gonna get Johnny Depp. We're gonna get Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And that's more into the like 2000s. Just like, I'm Tim Burton. I have a brand, and I'm going to like use it in every way possible to sell a movie and like everything like that. And it's pretty solid. I mean, it's just a movie I haven't seen in a long time, so I couldn't say too much. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else we can really say about it?
Not really. I didn't realize this was going to be so short, but like, I mean, if we're going off natural feelings inside, it feels like we covered it. It feels like we're forcing it otherwise.
Yeah, it's just like, I mean, like I said, like, it's super interesting from a technical standpoint to like look like, okay, here's all the shit they were able to do. They built these sets, like, more like all the credit to the animators. Like, this movie looks gorgeous. It's iconic to the point where like everybody knows like what Jack Skellington looks like. Everyone knows that like hill in the graveyard.
Sure.
I don't know, like Oogie Boogie's like a pretty solid villain. I wish he was around more. He's kind of fun.
I do like Oogie Boogie. I like when they actually reveal him.
Yeah, but he's like there for like maybe like 6, maybe 10 minutes tops, and it's just
you
like
get him at the back end of the movie for sure.
Yeah, which is fine. I get it, because like you've already spent all your money on your character models, all your sets. You're like, okay, what's Oogie Boogie's place going to be like? It's going to be like just like the circle. There's going to be like a circle. This is Oogie Boogie's territory. He's got this little circle here. That's what we've got. Like, I understand.
Side note, I'm also a big fan of his 3 minions, the little guys that are like throwing people.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what's this? On the phone. All right. LA.
Yeah,
City.
little Amber Alert. I got that.
No, it's an Amber Alert for COVID. It's a public safety alert.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, let's go, baby. Turning the corner. That's right.
Public safety alerts. It's about time.
Oh, yeah, 100%. But yeah, man, it's just this, I don't know. It's just like, it's a fun thing to put on around like the holidays, like whether it's Halloween or Christmas. It's definitely going along with the German expressionism. Like a good rule of thumb that my teachers were always kind of like harping on, or just like a thing to notice, like, listen, if you're having a Halloween party, like anything like that, put on any Tim Burton movie or any German expressionist movie. And like, it's a good thing to just like have on the background, like no noise, just like, oh, that shit's cool right there. Oh, well, that shit's cool right there, what they're doing with those like angles and shit right there. Oh, that's cool what they're doing over there with that. Okay. All right. Like, that's kind of what this movie kind of is to me at this point.
You know, it's
Like,
really funny that you just said that, because before you did, I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, I'm probably going to, because I'm going home here soon for about a month or so to see my family. And I was like, this is probably a movie I'll play with my nieces and nephews. Like, I'll put it on in the background.
yeah.
We'll kind of watch it, kind of BS. I was literally just thinking that is what it feels like. And then you said it.
Yeah.
Funny.
I mean, it's just a thing where it's like, and I get why it's not that deep. You have 70 minutes. You have 70 minutes. Every second of this movie probably took for fucking ever. Like, I get it. Like, the painstaking process, especially like the fact that we have so much more technology now and being able to make this kind of stuff, but like I'm sure this thing was a pain in the ass to make.
Sure. I don't doubt that.
And it's why Tim Burton, like, he's had this thing stewing for like 10 years and he didn't even like direct it, because he was like, I cannot go to like a studio for like 3-4 years and just every day just be like, move the hand like a little bit. Okay, now move the hand like a little bit more. Okay, now I need you to move the hand a little bit more. I need you to move like the right leg a little bit more. Okay, now both a little bit more. Okay, now like that's just like all day, every day. And like when you have so many like character models, like that's just like one character, one scene. Then you have the shit with the hill like unfolding. You have like 20 different characters in certain scenes and everything, and they're all cheering, they're like spewing dialogue and everything like that. Like, this probably fucking sucked to make, and like that's why you got to give them so much credit for being able to make it.
Shout out to all the animators, man.
Yeah, 100%. I wish that this day and age, like 2D animation and stop motion animation was still around. Like, I know that this is such like a painstaking art form of love, and like I cannot like express like the amount of gratitude I have for people who like pick up that kind of line of work.
Facts.
Like, and like to make this kind of movie is like, it has to be a labor of love or else you're gonna go nuts.
Yeah, you don't do that for just a paycheck. You'd hate it.
Yeah, and obviously it's been rewarded. It's one of these iconic movies. Like, everything about it is like has like 20 T-shirts made of it. Like,
so many dolls and memorabilia.
Yeah, it's like it's this kind of incredible, just like cultural like object. Like, it's like gotten into the lexicon so deep to where it's just like it's never like I said, like there's a store that's like based around this movie essentially.
Right.
Which, yeah, I mean, that's kind of cool that just like this like poem that Tim Burton wrote while he was like struggling to like make it as an animator back in the day when like Disney was like still like wasn't back to its like glory days, or like we were just about to hit the Renaissance, and just like now it's just like huge cultural thing. Yeah. So I think anything else on Nightmare Before Christmas?
I don't think so. I recommend everybody goes out and sees it for sure. But
yeah, I mean, it's definitely, if you haven't seen it, it's definitely something you want to check out just to like know what it is and to see like kind of the incredible work that people put in. If you're into this kind of animation, I would definitely go check out like a bunch of Leica's movies, like Coraline. Kubo and the Two Strings is my personal favorite. It's a great movie. I obviously got your Box Trolls and your Paranormans and everything like that too. So, yeah, I think that's about it. Matt, anything else?
No, I think that's it, sir. I think you were on top of your game here.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for watching. Let us know how you feel about Nightmare Before Christmas. Is it still like exactly that like thing you watched when you were a kid? Because here's the thing. I'm a Christmas guy, like all the way. Like, Christmas is my favorite holiday. Are you more Christmas or Halloween?
I'm definitely a Christmas guy over Halloween.
See, I feel like this is more a movie for Halloween people than Christmas people.
I would say yeah, because it doesn't have as many of like the feel-good joy moments. It's more of like somebody in Halloween, like a scary thing that has like a few bright moments of.
Yeah. Well, it's also literally a movie about like people like, okay, so how can we extend Halloween past Halloween? Like, how can we get this thing going for like another 2 months?
Well, I mean, look, that's why we're reviewing it on what? November?
Yeah. We're going to release it like November. Like, that's kind of what this movie's made for. Like, so I think, like, that's an interesting question to ask. Like, are you a Christmas or Halloween person? And, like, how does this movie, like, rank for you in those regards? Like, let us know down in the comments. I'd love to hear people's thoughts on this movie. Share, subscribe. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram and Twitter. We'll have all those links down in the description. And we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, these are the questions that define humanity, people. Next week, I want to know: is it Christmas or is it Halloween?
I mean, we got 2 votes for Christmas right here, so like, we're already winning.
We're setting the tone.
That's right, absolutely. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.